So, Steven Universe has kind of been coming back into the limelight. Get it? Because I'm playing Steven Universe Save the Light? Okay, unfunny joke aside, Steven Universe has been coming back to the limelight, being the new TikTok pipeline. So, this made me want to go back and rewatch the series. And after that rewatch, it made me want to go and replay the games. So, I replayed Attack the Light, and I had a lot of fun doing it. It brought back a lot of memories from my childhood, and it was really fun. Then I went to play the second game, Steven Universe Save the Light, and it is infinitely better than the first game. One reason why I find it better than the first is because the tag team ups, which in case either A, you were just blindly clicking a video, or B, your YouTube autoplay was on, you would know that's the theme of today's video. I'm going to be ranking every single tag team up in this game, and yeah. Before we get started, I just want to let y'all know that we are kind of close to 900 subscribers. Not really close, but if we can, maybe hit at least 900 subs by the end of the year, that would be greatly appreciated. So yeah, now without further ado, let's get on to the ranking. Number 21. Coming in at last place is Group Shock, which is the combination of Peridot and Amethyst. What happens is that Peridot makes a little device, and then Amethyst electrocutes it, stunning all enemies around them and giving them a defense decrease. Which sounds pretty useful, but to me, I don't really use the defenses that much, and just really, it's not really that good. And they're only stunned for a short amount of time until you just hit them, and then they're just not stunned. So that's what kind of puts it that low, that it's only for a really short amount of time. As you can see in the clip, it does not last for very long. So that's why I feel like it's worthy of the last place spot. Number 20. Coming in at second to last is Supercharged Amp, which is the exact same as Group Shock, except it's between Greg and Amethyst this time, and it actually does damage to enemies. And if you're facing level 1 enemies, like beginner enemies in this clip here, it does a bunch of damage. But later down the game, if you even use Greg, I don't even know why you'd be using Greg, but yeah, if you do for some reason use Greg, this ability won't even be that great. So, but just because of the attack, that's why I put it as high as I did. Well, this isn't high, but I put it a spot above the last one. Number 19. At number 19 is Batters Up, which is the combination of Connie and Peridot. What happens is that Peridot builds 4 mines, and Connie swings them around the field like a bat. Now, this does sound pretty useful, because if you do use a mine in this game, it's an okay little thing for 2-star points. But the main reason why this is so low is because if you're like me and is kind of mediocre at dodging, then this is actually pretty good for you. But for me, most of the time I use this, it just always gets scattered throughout the field and is super annoying. And most of the time, it's either just out of an enemy's range or just activates immediately on an enemy that is like super high HP or something. So yeah, it's a completely random where you're gonna hit this, so that's why it's so low. Number 18. 18th place goes to This One's For You, which is the combination of Pearl and Greg. Now, what this does is Greg gives Pearl a strength, defense, and luck boost, which sounds pretty useful. So why is it so low? Well, I should have mentioned this at the start, but I'm going to be basing these off of 2 things. One of the main things is how frequent I use these characters together, which most of the time I just use my main 4 characters of Steven, Peridot, Amethyst, and Connie. So I never have Greg and Pearl together, because I usually immediately switch out Greg whenever I first get Pearl. Because my order of the crystal gems goes Amethyst, Pearl, and then Garnet. So yeah, this is why it's this low. And if you're wondering, the second thing I'm going to be counting on is the just attack in general, so which should have been obvious. But yeah, if you do use Greg and Pearl, you may have this higher up on your list, but for me, no. Number 17. 17th place goes to Coach Steven, which is the exact same as This One's For You, because it does the exact same thing. Coach Steven, which is obviously the combination of Pearl and Steven, gives Pearl a luck, defense, and strength boost. So yeah, but the reason why I put it higher than This One's For You is because I'm actually going to be using Steven and Pearl in a party together. Because like I said, as soon as I get Pearl, because she's the 5th one I get, I replace Greg with Pearl. So I actually have a chance to use it if I even get Steven and Pearl leveled up that much. Number 16. Number 16 comes Student and Teacher, which is the combination between Pearl and Connie. Now, what this does is that they team up on one enemy, and they just beat the absolute living crap out of them. Now, you can do some attacks, and it is a little fast-paced, so I didn't expect that at first. And I got better at it, so because you saw that I completely missed a special attack once. But, yeah, I get rid of Pearl as soon as I get Garnet, which is the 6th character I unlock, so I don't really have that many opportunities to use it. So, that's why it's this far down. Number 15. At 15th place comes Tutor, which is the ability between Amethyst and Connie. Now, what it does, it gets Connie's already existing study ability and applies it to Amethyst as well. What the study ability does is slowly gives Connie a strength boost, which it stacks. Starting off with 1, and I don't really know the limit. But this applies to Amethyst as well, and automatically goes all the way up to 4. Now, this can be interrupted, which is why at the start of this clip you saw me giving Amethyst and Connie bubbles so they wouldn't get attacked, which is mainly why it ranks so low, is because it can be interrupted. And imagine spending all that time trying to get those relationship points with Connie, and just for it to be ruined in a split second. That's what happened to me the first 2 times I tried it. But, yeah, no. And the thing that makes it even more funny is that later in the game, whenever you get, like, better abilities for Connie, and you can upgrade her study ability to go to her teammates around her, if you're close to Amethyst, you can already give her just 4 study points. So it kind of makes this move irrelevant. Number 14. At 14th place goes to Intense Team Up, which is the combination of Garnet and Connie, which is the exact same as Student and Teacher, but I did put it above Student and Teacher because I'm going to be using Connie and Garnet more commonly together and longer, and I put it above Tutor because, like I said, it is the exact same thing, because I just feel like it's overall stronger, and like I said, I'm going to be using it more than Tutor, because most of the times I do it, it just gets interrupted. So, and this is uninterruptible, and I mostly use this in the snow place, and those like orange guys with the snow on them and the snow sword, those things hurt, man. And getting the freezing ability early on in the game whenever I don't have that much like supplies yet kind of sucks. Number 13. At 13th place is Give Me a Lift, which is the combination of Greg and Peridot. What this does is Greg gets his van and drives it through his enemy's hearts. But no, in reality, all he does, Peridot lifts up his van, he crashes into an enemy, then runs over any enemies that are in an existing path. Which sounds useful, but like again, I never used this combo until I was getting footage for this video. And that's really it. That's all it does. It's a one-time thing, and I guess if you're doing those annoying orange guys like I was talking about last segment, it kind of hurts. But, yeah, that's really it. Number 12. At 12th place is Garnet's Jam, which is the combination of Greg and Garnet, which all it does is takes Greg's already existing POW Jam ability and adds it to Garnet too for a little extra punch, which is pretty useful, which is why it's nearing the halfway point. But again, like I don't use Greg for most of these characters except Steven and Connie. So that's why this doesn't really get any higher, cuz again, it can be interrupted, which is the main disappointing factor in this. Number 11. Marking middle waypoint is This One's For You. Now I know what you're thinking. Didn't we already get a This One's For You? But this time it's between Greg and Connie, and not Greg and Pearl. Yeah, I don't know why they named it the same thing, but oh well. But this does the exact same thing as Greg and Pearl's, with a strength, luck, and defense increase. Now, why is this so many places higher up than Pearl's? Well, it's because I'm actually going to be using these two together, because they are the first 2 characters you unlock in the game, besides from Steven, of course. And though I don't know about y'all, but whenever I fought those lumberjack guys for the first time, I found them really hard to kill for some reason. And I know I'm probably not gonna have Connie and Greg upgraded that high, but I mean, if by the slim chance I do, if I ever decide to replay this game again, it might come in handy, who knows. Number 10. Starting off the top 10, we have the Fam Jam, performed by the family itself, Greg and Steven. What this does, it heals the entire team to 125 HP. Yeah, I think you can see why these guys are up so high. Now, in late game, this probably doesn't really do much, because, again, I do not play as Greg, like, at all. It's not like I've said that 1,000 million times in this video. But yeah, early game, if you can manage to do this, it is pretty good. So, it's early game bonus, but not late game bonus. But still good nonetheless. Number 9. 9th place goes to the Perfect Parry Cannon, which is the combination of, obviously, Pearl and Peridot. I already love the Parry Cannon ability. You saw me using it in the intro, and you also saw me using it last segment, so it's really overpowered if you can get like 5 at once. But yeah, add an even faster one that shoots more damage. You got yourself an absolute gem with me. The only problem for me putting this up higher is that I don't use Pearl and Peridot at the same time together, which is the only downside to this. It's amazing, 10 out of 10 ability, just I don't use the combo a lot that much. Number 8. At 8th place goes to the Parry Launch, which is the combination of Peridot and Garnet. What this does is Peridot goes in one of her little orbs that Garnet almost murdered Steven in the season 1 finale, on Hulu at least, and she just bounces around dealing a moderate amount of damage to enemies 4 times in a row, which is pretty decent in my book. So this is really good, and it's really nothing else to say. Also, I noticed that as I get farther into these lists, like across all on my channel, I just find things to run out. I run out of things to talk about. Number 7. At 7th place goes to Bubble Launch, which is the exact same as Parry Launch, except of course it's Steven and Garnet this time, and not Peridot and Garnet. And Steven is in a bubble and not in an escape pod. Probably gives him some PTSD. But anyway, despite this only having one less bounce than Peridot's, why did I put it above Peridot then? That's because you actually have access to this before you unlock Peridot, because Peridot, no matter what, is the last character you unlock in the game. And before I unlock Peridot, my main group is Steven, Amethyst, Connie, and Garnet. So this is one of the moves that I can actually do, and like I said earlier, one of the ways I'm going to be deciding how I rank these is if I can actually do it due to my party. And yeah, in the chilly north, or the great north, whatever the crap it's called, I have access to this, which is why it is higher than Peridot's. So now you know. Number 6. Now moving on to the fusions part of the list. Yep, we are moving on to our first fusion, is Smoky Quartz. And I hate that Smoky Quartz is the worst fusion in the game for me, because Smoky Quartz is actually my favorite fusion. And I love Smoky with all my heart. But anyway, her first ability is this like defensive thing where she raises her teammates' attack, defense, and has a small healing factor. And her main attack uses her yo-yo as a fan, like she did against Jasper in her debut, and just swings it around, dealing some minor damage at a rapid rate, which is alright. Could be greater, but for 6 star points, bro? Yeah, no. It's definitely a 5er. But other than that, Smokey is pretty good and definitely deserving of the 6th place spot, or just any spot in the top 10, really. Number 5. At 5th place goes to the second worst fusion, or if you want to look at it positively, the 4th best fusion goes to Sugalite, aka Nicki Minaj. Now, Sugalite's, her top ability that costs 4 star points, the stunning ground pound, for me, it never really works even against like beach city enemies. It just never works for me. However, her main ability, what I would consider to be, with like it's like a charging up punch. And the thing that really, the only reason why she's above Smoky Quartz is because it burns enemies. Which, in case you literally have an IQ of 3, you would know would deal damage over time. But, like, come on. But overall, Smoky is a mediocre fusion, and really the burning effect is only why she's over Smoky. Like, I said that again, I don't know why I did, but moving on. Number 4. At third best and worst fusion, and at fourth place, goes to the giant woman herself, Opal. Now, what makes Opal deserving of the fourth place spot? Well, it is her main attack, mostly, which is like this arrow rain thing, where it rains arrows to a select group of enemies, and is really overpowered because it lasts a long time and does like 10 to 12 a hit. Well, 10 to 12 a hit, and it's rapid too, which is really great. And her second ability is kind of like Pearl's spear throw thing, except it's an arrow and does a crap ton of damage. Like, I don't know why they just. I get that she is a fusion. She is a fusion, so we gotta make it overpowered as crap. But this is probably one of the only ones in the game that is 100% worthy of 6 star points. Number 3. Now, you may have been thinking, what can be more OP than Opal? And it is Sardonyx, one of the best fusions, not only in this game, but in the entire series of Steven Universe. Not only does she have a super OP hammer attack with 3 attacks, might I add, and she also has this chest little maneuver thing, which is like a Wheel of Fortune, because, she's kind of like a show host, which fits her personality, because her personality is a show host. That was stupid. Anyway, but the wheel can range from anything from a chest to 10 star points to Pearl and Garnet and Fusing to just honestly anything. Well, not anything literally, but you get my point. And it's really OP if you actually landed on something positive, because obviously that's most things. But yeah, and there are 2 more team-ups in this video that are even more OP than Sardonyx. Just let that sink in for a minute. Number 2. At second place, shockingly isn't a fusion, but still costs 0 star points nonetheless, which is Video Games, which is the combination of Steven and Peridot. The main reason why this is at number 2 is because not only does it give star points for a decent amount of time too, but it can't be interrupted. Well, it can be interrupted, obviously, if either one Peridot or Steven is knocked down, but the only way it actually can be disabled is if you choose to select an ability that either Peridot or Steven has, which is a pretty good equaling it out, which I gotta say really makes this deserving of the second place spot. But there is still one more to go. I wonder what that is. Number 1. At first place goes to the best team-up and fusion in the game, Stevani. The main reason why Video Games and Stevani were so high up on the list, and this also goes for Smoky Quartz as well, is because those 3 were the main 3 that I would use for my main party, which, like I've said multiple times, is Steven, Connie, Amethyst, and Peridot. And Stevani is by far the most useful and probably has the most equaled out attacks for star points. Her first attack is that huge sword slash that you just saw that does a crap ton of damage, and her second ability is Bubbling Everyone, which is just another ability that mimics someone else's ability but just ups it a little bit. Now, the reason why I like Stevani so much is because it's really easy for me to get Stevani, because one of the main badges I have for Steven is the Kudos badge that gives him the ability to just give people kudos, and I also have a crap ton of both presents, so I can just continuously just be using those on Steven and Connie outside of battle, but I don't because I keep forgetting that those existed. it's still a really good fusion, mainly because of the sword slash attack. But yeah, without further ado, I'm now done with the ranking. Well, that's that. That's another ranking video done. I hope y'all guys enjoyed. I feel like the background music really made this one of my best videos yet. And I really had a lot of fun working on it and replaying this game and just getting the footage in general. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if y'all are still watching, I'm hoping that we can get to 900 subscribers before the end of this year ends. I'm thinking that maybe we can do it, because I don't know, my views have been getting, well, they haven't been getting 8 through 10 out of 10 for the last couple of videos, so that's good, I guess. But yeah, that wraps this video up. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on, like the video, and yeah, I'll see y'all guys in the next one. Goodbye.